Okay, we are live. This is week 2 or take 2 of my proposed Facebook Live. We tried last week and the Wi-Fi in the Buddhist Center was really rubbish. So I did about 4 takes of getting to different stages of what I was talking about, and I was in my room and then I went downstairs to the Buddhist Center library and the Wi-Fi went again. So I'm really sorry if you tuned in last time. I'm aware there'll probably be less people tuning in this time because we didn't have the same Facebook event page for it and all this kind of stuff, but of course this video you can watch later anyway. So I am at my mum's house in Kingston upon Thames. This isn't where I grew up, this house, but it is the town I grew up in, and the cool thing about my mum's apartment is it's got good Wi-Fi, so I think we're doing okay. What I'm going to do in this Facebook Live is talk about the Hay House event that's coming up. It's called I Can Do It. It is on September the 30th and October the 1st of this year, and really cool speakers there. Carl Gray is speaking there, Robert Holden is speaking there, Yakov Darling Khan is speaking there, I'm speaking there, Marianne Williamson is speaking there, loads of other great, Sandy, my friend Sandy Newbing is speaking there, so loads of great speakers, and it's really cool. So if you are in Birmingham or anywhere near, because the cool thing about Brum is it's like an hour from London, hour from a lot of places, pretty much kind of in the middle south of the country, so come and check it out. I Can Do It, just type that into Google, I Can Do It 2017, really cool Hay House speakers. So I'm kind of vaguely going to be talking about what I'm talking at going to be talking about at I Can Do It, but also just chatting about lucid dreaming and shadow work, and there's some questions that have already come in. If you have any questions, then I think probably the best way, I don't know if you can actually write them in this feed, if not, just write them on my Facebook page, because I've got my laptop here, and I'll keep loading it and see if there are any questions coming in. So let's cover the basics before we begin. Lucid dreaming. Some of you will know what it is because you've seen me do my thing before, others of you won't. So a lucid dream is a dream where you know that you're dreaming as the dream is happening. So you're in a dream and you're like, oh wow, this is all a dream. So it's not just a really vivid dream. It's not just a really clear dream that you remember well in the morning. It is specifically a dream where within the dream there is the awakening of reflective consciousness and the ability to reflect on the fact that you are dreaming. Essentially, it's where you have the aha moment. You're in the dream, you're like, aha, I'm dreaming. When that happens, you're lucid. It's all been scientifically verified. Science shows that when that aha moment happens, part of the brain lights up, called the right dorsolateral prefrontal cortex lights up. I don't know, it's a bit there, which kind of apparently is where your conscious awareness lives. And when that switches on, you're lucid. So that's what a lucid dream is. The elevator pitch on why we would want to lucid dream is kind of, if you can treat it through hypnotherapy, you can treat it through lucid dreaming. In a similar way as a hypnotherapist will guide a strand of your conscious mind down into the unconscious and plant a suggestion of healing intent, such as I live a healthy lifestyle free of the addiction of cigarettes, for example. In the same way, in a lucid dream, you are also taking a strand of the conscious mind down into the unconscious, what could possibly be more unconscious than the dream state. And because of that, it is slightly deeper. I say that with full respect to hypnotherapy. I had a wonderful hypnotherapy teacher in my early 20s, and I've done a little bit of study on that. Hypnotherapy is way more accessible than lucid dreaming. You know, you can do hypnotherapy sessions on a weekly basis. Can you get people to be lucid dream on a weekly basis? Yes, but it takes practice, and it takes, weeks, months of dedicated skill and practice. So lucid dreaming is less accessible, but it is deeper. Once you bring the conscious mind down into that level of the unconscious through the dream state, very, very powerful changes can be made to the mind. So just like hypnotherapy, it can be used to work with addictive thought programs, negative or harmful behaviors. It can be used for doing your spiritual practice. In Buddhism, it's all about preparation for death, this kind of stuff. But to keep the hypnotherapy theme, addictive tendencies, working with past traumas, very exciting work coming up next year with veterans. So as a lot of you know, the last couple of years I've been doing a couple of days on mindfulness retreats with veterans of the British Armed Forces and their families, and I just applied for funding to do this next year, to go to America and study best practice and then bring it back to the UK and hopefully give something more to offer to the veterans. So working with past trauma, increasing confidence, working with negative thought programming, addictive tendencies, just loads of fun. in the same way as you can use hypnosis to make someone think they're a chicken and run around a stage. You can also use lucid dreaming just to like hang out and be really good at skateboarding and have loads of sex. A lot of you know in my other videos that's all I did in the first 2 years of lucid dreaming, because I was like 16 years old and that seemed like a good idea, sex and skateboarding. Still doesn't sound too bad actually, does it? So that's what a lucid dream is, and at I Can Do It, that's what I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about lucid dreaming, but I will also be talking about shadow work. So shadow work is the subject of my new book that just came out about 3 months ago, I think. It's called Dreaming Through Darkness, and it is all about the integration of the shadow through lucid living practices as well as dream work and lucid dreaming practices. So the shadow is anything within you that you are unwilling to face. So Carl Jung described the shadow as aspects of the unconscious mind that we have rejected, denied, or disowned. If you don't want to face it, it's the shadow. Anything within yourself that you don't love, that you're yet unwilling to face, forms a shadow. In fact, let's look at this. What does form a shadow? A shadow is formed by something blocking the light. The light of your conscious awareness, the light of your Buddha nature. If you remove the thing that is blocking the light, the shadow becomes integrated. So shadow integration is about looking into our mind and finding where our blocks are. What part of my mind am I unwilling to face? Both the dark side, that might be our shame, our trauma, our fears, our anger, anything that dirty little secret you don't want to know about, that's forming your shadow. But also, there's an aspect called the golden shadow. People think that this is like a new age twist on Carl Jung's teaching. That is incorrect. Carl Jung is quoted saying, the shadow is 90% pure gold. Now, why isn't that a quote that people know as much as his dark shadow quotes? He said it's 90% pure gold because think about the stuff that you hide from others. Okay, so I hide my shame, I hide my fear, I hide my trauma, I hide my anxiety, my depression, my annoyance. Yes, okay, these things. But don't I also hide something else? Perhaps someone watching now, in fact, I bet someone watching now, in fact, write a little comment if it's you. I bet there's someone here who hides their esoteric side from their friends or family for fear of being labelled too woo-woo. And yeah, woo-woo is the technical term for it. We hide our inner light. Is there anyone out there who hides their beauty for fear of being labelled too outrageous, too glamorous, too sexual? Perhaps there are people there who hide their intelligence because as a child they were told no one likes a clever clogs. So they receive this message that being too intelligent, too intellectual is wrong. You know, there's a big movement now at the moment of kind of anti-intellectualism. This whole kind of fake news, don't trust it, anti-intellectualism, flat earthers. So people are now suppressing their intellect in the belief that it means that they're not open-minded. This is ridiculous. So we hide our gold from others as much as we hide our darkness. And it's that element of shadow work that I'll be looking at I Can Do It as well. So I'll be looking at lucid dreaming and looking into the places that scare us. This is essentially what shadow work is about. Move towards the parts of your mind that scare you. Either they scare you because they're so dark, or they scare you because they are so bright. For actually, if you were to take full responsibility for the fact that you had divine potential, that you had Buddha nature, would that not be more of a threat to your sense of who you think you are than actually admitting some shameful things to people? I know for me, it's much easier for me to admit to my dark shadow than it is to truly admit to the fact that I, like you, must have the seed of enlightenment within me. That just seems far out. I'm totally unenlightened. But I must admit there's the seed of enlightenment within me. But why is that harder to admit to you guys than all of my dark stuff, shame, stuff around sexuality and things like that? So the dark shadow and the golden shadow. Those two mix in the middle through the process of lucid dreaming. Because a unique aspect of lucid dreaming is that you can actually meet psychological concepts. So once you're lucid in a dream, oh wow, I'm dreaming, you can walk around the dream and you can start to speak to people. And you can say things like, what do you represent? And they will literally reply with things like, oh, I'm a memory from your childhood. Or I'm your capacity for violence. You know, really interesting things. So you could do that when you're lucid. But even better is once you're lucid, you can actually call out to meet your shadow. So imagine if you got lucid and you called out, dark shadow, come to me. The dark shadow being the representation of all of these seemingly harmful aspects of yourself that you deny and hide from others. So this would be your anger, sexual taboos, sexual shame, past traumas, past regrets. Imagine all of that appearing in personified form in the lucid dream. And then, of course, once it appears in the lucid dream, you move towards it and you embrace it. You literally hug it, like I talk about in my TED Talk. If you put in Charlie Morley TED Talk, you'll find this talk I gave about embracing your demons in the lucid dream. And, of course, seeing that they were never demons in the first place. They were daemons. They were your inner being. They were your divine potential. And you can also go into the lucid dream and you can call out to meet your golden shadow. So the golden shadow is that inner gold that you suppress or deny you have. So it is your divine potential, it's your Buddha nature, it's your spiritual side, it's your intelligence if you repress that, it's your beauty if you repress that. It's all of these golden aspects that we're unwilling to look at or admit that we have within us. So if you get lucid and you call out, golden shadow, come to me, you are literally going to meet your internal angel. And that is such a super cool thing to do. And when I've done that, the internal angels turn up always looking different. They always look different. And it's never been literally an angel. It's been one time it was a friend who represents ultimate kindness to me. Another time it was a group of Tibetan Buddhist monks. What do they represent? My suppressed capacity for spiritual practice. You know, I'm a part-time Buddhist. I live in a Buddhist center. I do quite a lot of Buddhist practice, but I'm not a monk. I'm not a full-time practitioner. So the gold within me that I suppress and repress is full-time spiritual practice. So you get the idea. And if you want to hear me talk more about this stuff, then come to I Can Do It. It's going to be really cool. Birmingham Town Hall, September the 30th, October the 1st, where I'll be talking about lucid dreaming and shadow work. Or, shameless plug, this is a bit where I should have bought my book. Then I go, boom, book number 1, book number 2, book number 3. I haven't, but just imagine, if you want to explore shadow work, if you want to own your shit, if you want to acknowledge the no mud, no lotus approach, that we need the mud, the fertile soil of the human condition, of our own suffering, to blossom into the enlightenment of the lotus flower, then try Dreaming Through Darkness is the name of the book. My latest book, I'm really happy with it. I really think that book can help people. If you're into the lucid dreaming stuff, then I've written a book called Lucid Dreaming, A Beginner's Guide, and I've got another one called Dreams of Awakening. Cool, so let's start to look at some of these questions that people have sent in. I'm just going to look down here at my laptop. I love Facebook Live. This is so cool, the fact this is happening live, and anything can happen. My mum could come in at any moment, the dog could come in. For those of you who just tuned in, I'm doing this at my mum's house because I had such bad Wi-Fi at the Buddhist Center last week, and I had like 4 non-starters, these really embarrassing 30-second videos of me going, okay, we're back again, we're live, okay, here I am at the Buddhist Center, went dead. So anyway, yeah, anything can happen. So let's look at some of these questions. Herbert. A friend of mine, Herbert Hanson, has got a question. He is having regular lucid dreams, rare but regular. So once every 2 or 3 months he has a lucid dream. His question is the following: I'm afraid that lucid dreaming would be a breach for my mental mind to penetrate my dreams instead of letting my unconscious mind, who I am, speak to myself freely. So this is an interesting question. Some people think, in fact, his question is more nuanced, but let me look at the broader question here that sometimes comes up. People ask, if I get lucid in my dreams, so if I know that I'm dreaming and I start to direct the dream, perhaps even control the dream at will, am I not in some way forcing something upon the unconscious mind in an unnatural way? Let's look at this in each stage. Number 1, I would not say that lucid dreaming is controlling the dream. Once you're lucid, you are directing the dream. You are co-creating the dream. You are choreographing the dream, but you are in no way controlling it. The power of the unconscious mind is so awesome that it is impossible to be controlled. It's like a sailor thinking they can control the sea. The sea is so vast, so huge, so awesome. There's no sailor who would be arrogant enough to say, oh, I control the sea. But what sailors can do is they can get to know the sea so well, get to know the tides, get to know the positions of the coral reefs, where the sea monsters lie, where the big waves are, the small waves, that they can circumnavigate the globe through the sea. But they're not controlling it. They're working with the sea to make their journey. That's what we're doing in the lucid dream. We're not controlling it. The mind is just so big. There's no way you can control it. Even if you're flying through the sky, so tonight if you get lucid and you want to fly, I do fly. If you get lucid, don't walk. Why walk when you can fly, right? So you're flying through the sky in the lucid dream. You're like, Charlie's wrong, I'm totally controlling this. I'm controlling going left, right, up, down. Okay, you are controlling your subjective experience of flight. But what is controlling the trees that you're whizzing over as you fly? What is controlling the people walking in and out the shops that you're flying over if you're flying over an urban scene in your dream? You may be controlling the micro, but the macrocosm of the dream is still absolutely under the control of the unconscious mind. So first of all, we're not controlling. Secondly, the unconscious mind loves lucid dreaming. Every night when we go to sleep, the unconscious mind is trying to communicate with us. It's saying, here's a dream, here's a letter I've written to you, please read it and act upon it. The dream is trying to communicate. So when we become lucid, we have a very high level of communication. We're literally there with the letter writer. It's as if the dreamer is writing the letter, it does every night, writing a letter, which is the dream. And then you walk into his office and it's like, oh dude, I'm just writing to you. Okay, now we can talk face to face. So the dreamer loves it. For the dreamer, a lucid dream is a chance to speak face to face rather than in letter form. So the unconscious loves lucid dreaming. But let's say there was some time where the unconscious would just rather you weren't there. It wants to do its thing without conscious awareness. Okay. You have 4 to 5 dream periods a night based on an average 8-hour sleep cycle. If you get lucid once a night, which is pretty tough to get lucid every single night, seven nights a week, but even if you were to get to that level, still 95% of your dream experience would be non-lucid, simply based on the volume of dreams you have in those 4 other dream periods. So there's a lot of space for your dreaming mind to be doing its thing. So for the most part, the dreaming mind is happy you're there. And if there was a dream where it didn't want you in, you just wouldn't be able to get lucid. I've had dreams where I become lucid and then the dreaming mind has just chucked me out. It's as if it's got to a bit of, nah, this isn't for your eyes, this is a private bit, and it just throws you out. You know, it is actually totally in control. So that's something to think about. Let me just look at Herbert's question again, make sure that I have answered him. Yeah, it's really about that. He says, what do you really control or influence in a lucid dream? You're controlling and influencing your subjective experience. You are making requests. You're actually dialoguing. Let's say I want to get fly in the lucid dream. I put my hand up to fly, and then I start flying. What we don't notice is actually there's been a dialogue there through symbolism. I've gone, the symbol of flight. The dreamer has seen the symbol of flight and instantaneously gone, oh, okay, I will allow you to fly. But that communication is happening so quickly, we misinterpret it as control. Whereas if you try and do something really harmful in the lucid dream, nothing will happen. It'll just block it. There's this kind of wisdom in the lucid dream that blocks you. The story I often tell is when I tried to visit Buddhist Heaven, and I was in there, well, it's called Dewa Chen, but let's call it Buddhist Heaven, just for the sake of the Facebook Live. So I'm in the lucid dream going, Buddhist Heaven, I want to go to Buddhist Heaven. Nothing's happening. I'm like, Buddhist Heaven, this is my dream, take me to Buddhist Heaven. Eventually a woman walks into the dream holding a clipboard like this. She looks up at me and goes, Buddhist Heaven? Nah, you're not ready for that. Boom, and I wake up. And I was like, okay, we are not controlling this thing. It's even more like the Matrix than you think. There's actually a greater consciousness in there controlling it. And that greater consciousness is what Jung would call the self with a big S. The post-Jungians then named, some of them called higher self. What in Buddhism we might call Buddha nature, divine potential. That's in there. That's really controlling the show. Okay, another question from Liz. I have been practicing mindfulness to help with lucid dreams, as in trying to be present in every task I do during the day. But what seems to happen a lot is that I have really detailed but boring normal dreams. And then she talks about this dream when she was watching the dishwasher and all this kind of stuff. Great that I had that much detail, but I wonder if it's preventing me from realizing I'm dreaming. That's cool. Okay, so she's talking about being super mindful in daily life. So because she's super mindful in daily life, she's starting to look at the detail of everything that's going on. So she's really aware of the dust that's on this little bit here, really aware of the shine on my forehead, really aware of these things. You will then dream in the same way, because you dream as you live. If you live in tunnel vision, never looking up, you will dream in the same way. If you want to have some exciting dreams, start looking up, start opening up to life. So through her mindfulness, she is opening up to life. She's starting to see the detail in things, but she's dreaming the same way, of these kind of boring but detailed dreams of watching the spinning of the dishwasher and stuff like that. She's wondering, is that preventing me getting lucid? I don't think so. I think if you were to combine that level of mindfulness in the day with reality checks. So reality checks are things that you do in the dream to tell if you're dreaming or not. The classic one is the hand check, right? So you check the hand, 4 fingers, thumb, wedding ring, flip, flip. 4 fingers and a thumb, wedding ring. My hand's the same, so I'm awake. Do that in a dream, often you get a change of the hand, and then you can know you're dreaming. So if you, Liz, if you combine your mindfulness practice with reality checks, then you'll be creating a link to seeing the detail, being mindful in daily life, and asking, could I be dreaming? That will then flow into the dream and should actually probably help you get lucid. Yeah, so see if that works. But great that you're doing mindfulness practice. Someone on the... Was I teaching this weekend? Someone at the weekend was asking, does mindfulness practice give you more lucid dreams? I haven't seen any evidence that it does. What I have seen is that doing mindfulness or any type of meditation practice in the daytime seems to make people's lucid dreams longer. So when they're in there, they're longer, because mindfulness is about learning to keep the mind in check, to keep it in balance. So if you're doing a lot of that during the day, then that quality of mind will flow over into the dream, and you'll probably stay in the lucid dream for a bit longer. Yes, Diego Fox has got a wicked name. Diego Fox, dude, what do you do, right? Let us know what you do. You've got to be a rock star or something, right? Rock star or kind of an actor or something with a brilliant name like that. Diego Fox has also asked my favourite question. What can a lucid dreamer do to help someone experiencing the 49-day Bardo period? Okay. The 49-day Bardo period is a reference to the teachings within Tibetan Buddhism, which look at the experience of the after-death state. So Bardo is a Tibetan word that means place in between. It's believed that when you die, you're not just reborn instantly, although it is possible, but most people are not reborn instantly. You enter a in-between space called the after-death Bardo state, which is said to be dreamlike and hallucinatory. It is not a dream, but parts of it are dreamlike and hallucinatory. We stay in that state for a maximum of 49 days. I've heard some teaching say, yes, those are 49 Earth days. I've heard one of my teachers say 49 days in the Bardo. What is it? The sun doesn't rise and set. What's a day? But there's this period that's supposed to be 49 days. So the question is really, if somebody has died, or they recently died, how can a lucid dreamer help them? Is it possible? So I have one little bit of experience on this. When my friend, about 3 years ago this October, God, it might be 3 years ago this month, that's weird, I didn't think about that. My friend Tomas died. Tomas was a guy who turned up at one of my lucid dreaming retreats, and when I asked him why he was there, as I often do, say, you know, what brought you to the retreat, he said, I've got 3 months left to live, and I heard that lucid dreaming was a training that prepared you for death. And I thought, oh shit, okay, this is like heavy stuff. We became friends, and he became a really great lucid dreamer because he had a good reason to do this practice. Like he got into it hard, and he started having a lot of lucid dreams. Just a little footnote here, the belief in Tibetan Buddhism is if you can master the art of lucid dreaming, then when you die you might also be able to master the art of dying, and die as consciously as you can dream. And if you can become conscious in the dreamlike aspects of the after-death Bardo state, that's said to be the highest achievement of the spiritual practitioner, leading to either full enlightenment or the ability to guide yourself to a favourable rebirth. So he knew he was going to die. He does all these practices. He gets pretty good at lucid dreaming. I was doing kind of retreats together where I used to go to his house and kind of wake him in the night and give him kind of instruction and stuff like that. And I don't know if it helped. I hope it helped. And he died, and before he died I had made this silly thing where I'd said to him, or he'd asked me, he said, when I die, will you guide me through the Bardo? And I said, dude, I have no qualification to guide you through the Bardo. Ask Lama Yeshe, ask one of the Lamas. He said, yeah, I will, but will you too? So I said, yes. And then when he died and I got the call from his partner, I remembered, and I was like, oh shit, I said I'd guide him through the Bardo, like I better try at least. So that night I went and I slept in the shrine room at the Buddhist Center where I live, and I did manage to get lucid, luckily. The pressure was on, and I got lucid, and once I was lucid I called out, Tomas! Three main things within Tibetan Buddhism that are good to tell somebody who has died, who's in this Bardo state before they've been reborn. So they're dead, but their kind of mind stream is still in this intermediate state, and it said they have 9 times the power of consciousness, so they can hear you if you speak to them, basically. And apparently the lucid dream state amplifies your consciousness by 7. So you're on 7 times consciousness, they're on 9 times, so the ability to communicate is said to be greatly heightened. So I get lucid and I call it, Tomas, go towards the light, know you are dead, know you are loved. So you want to tell them they're dead, because most people in the Bardo don't know they're dead. Tell them they're loved, and tell them to go toward the brightest light they can see. Loads of instructions on this, but essentially there are lots of different lights and apparitions in the Bardo, and the best instruction you can give to someone to go towards the really bright light. There's one light in there that's so bright it would be like looking into a full beam headlight. You won't want to look at it. That is your enlightened nature, so move towards it. So I get lucid and I go, Tomas, know that you're dead, know that you're loved, go towards the bright white light. And I'm calling out, and I thought, okay, well, I've done my bit, maybe he heard it, maybe not. And then I thought, I wonder if he can actually hear me. So in the lucid dream I call out, Tomas, can you actually hear me? And then this noise goes, and I was like, oh shit, it's him. And I thought, no, just my mind messing with me, or it's a noise outside or something. And I said again, Tomas, can you actually hear me? And it happened again the second time I asked, and I thought, wow, he's actually there. Oh, Tomas, it's Charlie, it's me. You're dead, man, but go towards the light, go towards the light. And then I woke up. And then a couple of weeks later I asked Lama Yeshe, my Buddhist teacher, I told him the story, and I said, could that have worked? And he said, it could have worked, yeah. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know he was going to say that. He said, your ability to communicate with people in the Bardo is heightened in the lucid dream state. So in the waking state, you can pray to them and the prayers will kind of still make it through. But in the lucid dream state, you have much more of a direct connection. So to contact recently dead loved ones, the lucid dream state is said to be a preferable state. So Diego Fox, with a brilliant name, that is what a lucid dreamer can do to help someone in the Bardo period. You could become lucid. And once you're lucid, you could try and communicate with them, telling them those 3 things, that they're dead, that they're loved, and to go toward the brightest light you can find. Okay, so Julia has a question. She says, I asked the dream character who she was, and then she beamed love at her and absorbed her into me to reclaim the projection. She merged into me just like in the films, but was then recreated in front of me. Does this mean I need to work more on reclaiming this projection? Oh, something's popped up on my screen. I don't think so. I think that's brilliant that you did that, and that you merged into love and she merged into you. She probably popped up again because the projection was still there. It didn't need to be. It's not like you want to get rid of the projections. You just want to show them love and absorb them into you. Oh, my screen's doing something funny again. So I think that's great. I think you did the right thing, Julia. Just go around in lucid dreams sending love to everything. If you get lucid tonight, if you're in the dream and you're, oh, I'm dreaming, and you don't know what to do, just hug everything. Right, literally hug everything, because everything in your mind is you in the lucid dream, 99% of everything. So hug the people, hug the trees, hug the floor, and you're going to wake up feeling amazing because you just hugged your internal psychology all night. Those of you who think, oh, he said 99%, what about the 1%? The collective archetypes, the collective unconscious. Yes, hug them too. But what if it's the collective shadow? What if it's the collective badness of the world? Absolutely hug it. God, imagine if you met the collective shadow in your lucid dream and you embraced it with love rather than fear and aversion. You might wake up to world peace. So yes, even embrace the scary things in the lucid dream, whether they're your scary or the world's scary. Love is the most powerful thing there is, right? It's the most powerful weapon too. Weapon, I mean, like to break through the ego, to break through dualism, not to hurt anything. Okay, Ange Mayberry says, I'm flipping and flopping all over the bed at night. What are you up to, Ange? So I'm sure I'm dreaming, but how come I can't remember? And why do I wake up more tired than when I went to bed? This is interesting. If you are moving a lot in the night, you probably aren't dreaming. Well, you are dreaming, but when you dream, you're totally still. You engage muscular paralysis. So if you're moving a lot, you're not in the dreaming state. It might be you're in the light sleep state. Maybe that's why you're feeling more tired when you wake up in the morning. So it could be that. Yeah, when you're in REM dreaming sleep, the body becomes paralyzed. There's a safety mechanism to stop you acting out your dreams. Yeah, sorry, I can't be more help than that. There's, without wanting to be a hard sell, in Dreams of Awakening, my first book, there's a lot on sleep paralysis, sleepwalking, sleep talking, nightmares, all the kind of obstacles associated with sleep. So that might shed some light on your question too. Okay. So I'm just going to check the Facebook page, see if there are any more questions coming in now. And then, so I'm only going to be a few more minutes, guys. It's going to be a half an hour thing. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay, here's a question that somebody has sent in by message. What if I'm not ready to look at my shadow? What if you're not ready to look at your shadow? Me and you both, dude. I don't think there's ever a time where you're going to be like, oh yeah, all this stuff I've suppressed, repressed and denied, yeah, now I really want to look at it. It's not going to be like that. There's a famous quote from Carl Jung, the pioneer of the term the shadow. Of course, not the inventor, but the pioneer of the term in the West. He said, famous quote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." I bet loads of you know that. What you don't know is there's actually another bit to the quote, which many of you won't know because it's never quoted. He says, however, this is disagreeable to most and thus unpopular. So he says it is disagreeable to most to look at their shadow, to go into the darkness, and thus it is unpopular. My aim with the book was actually to popularize shadow work, to say, yeah, it's hardcore and it's scary and it's horrible sometimes, but it is powerful and it is accessible and it's not for special people, it's for every person out there. So there's probably never a time where you're going to think, oh, now's the time to look into my shadow. Even when I talk about the golden shadow, and the golden shadow being about unlocking your hidden potential, moving into your hidden talents, following your bliss, as the mythologist Joseph Campbell said. When I start talking about that, people get even more scared. Oh God, but I don't want to step into my highest potential. Things are safe now. So shadow work is scary and it is uncomfortable, but it is so, so powerful. All of the exercises in that book have been done by me. I've done them all and they've changed my life. I got married 3 months ago. The only reason I could get married was because of the shadow work. We'd been engaged for like 4 years and the problem wasn't with Jade, the problem was with me. I wasn't safe to love. I wasn't safe to love because I just didn't love myself yet. I hadn't worked through my shit. I then worked through my shit, not all of it, there's still so much. I had no idea there was so much there till I started doing shadow work, but I worked through a heck of a lot more of it than I had done before. And that made me safe to love and safe to give love. So shadow work can really change your life in profound ways. Oh, and I'm filming the shadow online course too. So if those of you who like videos or dig the way that I present, this is very freestyle, but you can at least see my kind of vibe. Then on the Day of the Dead, November the 2nd, we'll be releasing the Embracing the Shadow online course. 5 or 6 hours, 7-week online course, lifetime access of me doing all the stuff about shadow integration in video format, so you can do it along with me at home. Really powerful course. So if you're into shadow work, check that out. So I'm going to tune off right now. Be sure to check out I Can Do It, September the 30th, October the 1st, Birmingham Town Hall. Just Google it, I Can Do It 2017. Really, really great speakers there. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Some, lecture spots you get and you're kind of like, oh, might be a bit boring, don't know any of the other speakers. This one, I know all of the speakers there, most of them personally, and they're all really, really good. So I advise being there and we can hang out too. So I hope you liked the Facebook Live. I think when it finishes, it just goes automatically onto my Facebook page, so you can watch it again or share it with friends. Let me check my notes. Is there anything else I was supposed to say? I was going to talk about lucid dreaming, shadow work, answer questions, and talk about I Can Do It. Okay, we're done. And I'm so glad the Wi-Fi worked. Yeah. My website is www.charliemorley.com. Lots of stuff coming soon. Email me at dreamyoga@live.com if you have any questions, and I hope to see some of you at I Can Do It Birmingham. Cool. Peace, love, and lucidity. I'm out.